So Cheyenne and I were talking. We were actually making like a whole power player sale the other day, and she was recording the call, and then we were like diagnosing some of the things that she noticed, right? And I'm like, hey, what did you notice from me closing a $10,000 sale in like, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, right, whatever it was. And there were specific things that she noticed, 5 things, and then you can also tell me if I missed anything that I wanted to share, because it'd be applicable for anyone. And as I'm going through this, I'm also testing to see a little bit of how I feel. I feel a little bit better today. I had a fever all weekend. Don't feel great, but in 48 hours, I'll be like and headed to San Antonio to get in front of a room for a whole day. So I'm like, okay, I gotta get with it. However, I want to share these 5 things related to phone sales. First is, and these are also things that I noticed that a lot of other agents that are on our YouTube channel fail to implement. So I'm like, okay, might as well train. It's good content while I'm teaching you guys. Might as well train agents too. The first has to do with getting in control of a call. I notice that, I don't know if you guys notice this, when I am not in control of a sales call, I do not make a sale. Period. Like if I am not in control, good things are not happening, right? Now it's easy if, even if Cheyenne's not in control of a call, they were stalling the day while I was late to the call. But then when I get in and I say something, yes, I'm naturally gonna be easier for me to just get in control of the call because of me and the brand and talking to this individual from Scottsdale, right? However, most people can keep control of a call by getting control early and asking questions. Because if I go too long, and I want to listen and I want the other person talking more than I do on a call, right? Statistically. However, if I go too long without talking or too long without interjecting or asking questions, I am allowing them to run the call. Right? And the longer they run the call, the less I am actually running the call. So I want you to start thinking about that when you're auditing this. Okay, how long has it been since I want them talking, but how long has it been since I spoke? When I did speak, what did I say, right? And I'm gonna get into a couple other things too, but this is a big piece that most people struggle with. I noticed this whether I was in a home selling insurance back in the day or whether I'm on the phone every day. If I'm not in control, it doesn't go well, okay? Number 2, don't talk too much. Now, there's a couple layers when it comes to not talking too much. The first layer, if you think about it, is just talking a bunch, right? And just like having the gift of gab and liking to talk. And it's like, if I talk too much and I just like to talk, I'm not gonna make a sale either, right? So either spectrum. If I'm never talking, I ain't making a sale. If I'm always talking, I ain't making a sale, right? I felt that, okay? I've noticed it. Also too though, the other piece is, when I'm talking, you guys will pick up on this. Cheyenne knows to the day, when I did talk, it was to interject briefly and to steer the conversation. It wasn't, oh, cool, good answer. You know what, I was thinking about that. I like what you're saying. It makes sense. You know what? And we've seen a lot of that happen with a lot of people here. And, when they start working with us, things start going good, And to it, made me think about this other story the other day, and before I know it, I'm like, I'm like freaking off I'm veering off the path again, right? And however, when I am in control of a call, it's like, hey, you said budget is important to you. What do you mean? You said budget was important to you. What do you mean, right? 11 words. Like it wasn't 38 seconds of me interjecting and talking a bunch and asking questions, right? It's a different, that is how I also when I'm on a call, this is not easy to do, I like them reacting to me the entire time. Like I like being in such control that they are like constantly trying to keep up and react to what I am saying. And then what happens is then they just give control away because they're having a little bit of trouble keeping up to a degree. Now, do I want to like roughshod over people and just like talk way too fast and lose them? No, but I do want to remain in control. And when I do talk, I want it to be relevant and important when I do speak, right? I mean, same thing on a stage. Like when a brand new speaker gets up and starts speaking and they just like freaking ramble on, but no. Really good speakers are very particular about what they say and when they say it. Same for sales reps, okay? So that's number 2. Number 3 is, you guys have heard this a bazillion times, Rodney says this every day, but ask questions to lead the call as well, right? Like we're asking questions to lead the call along the way. Now, there's good questions and there's bad questions, right? A good question the other day, right, would have been, hey, what are some of the problems that you're facing that if we could solve those, wow, it would be super helpful for you? What are those problems that you're facing? Or what's your goals? What's your targets? What are you looking to accomplish, right? A bad question is, hey, did the other agent that you're working with, why aren't you just buying from them? Again, there's good, now you get some good intel out of that, but I don't want them thinking about somebody else too much, right? So again, asking questions is what leads the conversation. Also, if you ever know, I used to train on this in the sales system, but if you ever notice me on a call, I rarely speak without asking a question. I've said this before. If you're new to this concept, but if I speak, I end with a question. Almost you could listen to the recording and tell me, but almost, I can't say 100% of the time, but almost 100% of the time when I speak, I'm asking a question. Why? Because it is allowing me to stay in control of the entire call. Okay, number 4, get your questions answered. Nothing drives me more nuts, mad, whatever, right, in a not serious way, than when I'm asking questions and they are not answering me, right? How many times did I have to ask her, if she wanted to join, or how much money she made?
It was at least 3 different times.
Right, Shane just said it was at least 3 different times. I'm constantly, and I asked the question, hey, how much revenue did you do the last 12 months? I'm not really sure. I'm like, really? Now I see why you need power players. You don't even know how much freaking money you made. That is a massive problem. How much money do you think you made? I'm not sure. If you had to guess, throw a number, guesstimate, right? Those are ways that you actually get an answer. And so it's hey, how much money did you make? I don't know. How much do you think you made? Well, I need to know. Okay, well, if I start counting these different divisions, this lady's like, probably about $500,000. I'm like, in premium or actual income, deposits, dollars that came into your company? Yeah, about $500,000. I'm like, alrighty then, right? And this was someone that didn't think they qualified for power players either, which is great. Good for them. They're humble. That's awesome. Most people make $12 and they're like, I should be in that, This person makes $500,000 and still not sure, right? However, I kept going until I got the question answered. Now, even farther than that, I went into okay, how much were your expenses? I don't know. If you had to guess, about how much do you think you spent of the 500 the entire year, conservatively? First she said probably 250. I'm like, are you sure? She's like, nah, probably more now that I think about it, probably more 300. Okay, so you think you profited $200,000 of the 500? Yes. Positive. Pretty sure. Okay, great, right? Then we're getting somewhere, but I'm actually getting the intel and the data. And here's what happens too. A lot of sales reps struggle with this. If you are asking questions and you just continue on without getting answers, you are training them that your questions are not important and that they do not have to answer you. Well, what's going to happen later when you're like, hey, dude, let's test out 50 of those leads. Sound good? They're going to be like, they don't need to answer you because you trained them for 45 minutes that they don't need to answer your questions. They're not important, right? But when I ask questions, I'm like, no, I got to know right freaking now. It's important because I'm training them every step of the way that it is valuable and important. Okay, does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, 5th, actually ask for the business. This is not, it's not rocket science, but so many people get to the very end of a sales call and they just don't do anything. They just they hesitate or pause or delay, or they're like, what do you want to do now? Or they just don't say anything and they're like, please say something, please say something, please. And then a person's like, let me think on this. Oh, great, good idea. I think that makes sense, right? No, when we get to the end, I probably asked in
it was 3 or 4 different ways.
3 or 4 different ways again, yeah. Right? What were those ways?
At first you were just like, well, if this would help your business and it makes sense, wouldn't you invest in it? And she's like, yeah, it like makes sense. And then she's like, but I don't think I qualify. And Cody was like, okay, but if you did qualify, would you be a part of it? And then she was like, yeah, like if I qualified. And then he was like, okay, you qualify, so why wouldn't we do this today? And like just kept going with the, hey, this is gonna help you.
And she's like, well, I don't know why I wouldn't. I'm like, okay. So is that a yes, that you are being invited and accepting that you are joining Power Players right now? Yes. Okay, great. Right? Like it was so complicated, but it didn't have to be, right? At the end of the day, it was still a slow progression and asking the same, because I was told a long time ago in sales, you can ask the same question over and over again, as long as it's asked in a different way or accompanied with new information. Every single time, right? And so I'm asking questions, I'm asking the same thing over and over, but I may tweak it or word it differently or add some information, or just, I'm trying to get the trying to get to the same place, but I'm taking a different route each time, okay? Questions on these 5?
When you're in those situations where you have to repeatedly ask the same question over and over,
Yeah.
do you find that they're just conditioned like that the person is a habitual procrastinator, or is it something internal where you maybe didn't ask it directly?
That's a good question. So Joey's like, hey, when you're noticing that they're not answering your questions, is it that type of personality, or is it that you just didn't ask the right way, right? And to that point, maybe both, because like some people do like to talk, right? However, if I kind of hint at it, they may not understand. So then when they don't understand, I definitely get more direct. Like, you are being invited to do this. You do qualify. So because of those 2 things, would you like to join today? Yeah. Okay, perfect, right? And so yes, I would say, in this case, in this exact case study, the sales call we were doing in Friday and Cheyenne was listening to, it was almost like she heard previously that you have to talk to Cody to qualify for Power Players, and she didn't know if she did. And I never said, oh wow, you're doing really good, $500,000, $200,000 in profit, you qualify. I never said that. So because of that, I mean, it kind of made the close easier maybe because I didn't, but like I didn't say that. So the whole time she was just like, I don't know if I get to be in this or not, you know? And some people, when they say you have to qualify, you have to talk to me, you have to be vetted, whatever, they don't totally believe it. It's true, but in this case, like it was true and she believed it, right? Which is rare, you know, super rare. Also, as you guys are watching this, if you have any questions on any of the sales training that we are doing, put the questions below, or go to CodyAskins.com, find our Mentor Ready Academy. It's all over the homepage, blowing it up. Mentor Ready Academy, and join and hang out with Joey and I and our whole team every single week for only $49. Either way, thanks for listening, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.